guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shelly and I would love for you to subscribe. And today's Shelly's hot topic is gonna be about starting over after 60. What does that mean, right? Well, I actually have a friend who is getting divorced and she's 62 years old. And we've been kind of deep diving on this gray divorce thing, right? It's called gray divorce. I never even heard of it before. But starting over after 60 can be so scary and overwhelming, right? And she's kind of in a, not a similar situation to me, but what I mean is well, it is a little similar. Her husband had a stroke. And I think he's 74, 73, something like that. And he's recovered pretty well, much like my husband. He's driving, he's, living his life, whatever. And he's just become very angry, right? He doesn't want any of her friends over. And he's just like, nobody wants to be around him. Her world is becoming very small, which I kind of relate a little bit to this. My world has shrunk considerably since my husband had his stroke. And it's so funny because, like I said, I know it's a shock, but I'm a pretty social person, right? I love my family, my kids, and my friends. Don't get me wrong. I totally dig my alone time. Like, I love being alone and quiet time and Netflix days, all that stuff. But, I think having a friend over for coffee or lunch or, whatever the case may be, it's nice, right? Well, my husband makes people very uncomfortable. And this woman's going through something very similar. Her husband makes people feel very, very unwanted. Anyway, long story short, she ended up leaving. And she has 3 daughters and 1 son. And her son was really super supportive, right? And who knew? And 2 of her daughters are like, oh, how can you do this to daddy? And he had a stroke and la la la. Well, she told her middle daughter, I think, go live with your dad for 7 days. Go stay with him, cook for him, take care of him. Have your friends over, live your life. And after 7 days, you come back and tell me, yeah, Mom, you're wrong. You're wrong. Dad's chill. He's cool. Go back. She said, I'll consider it. Wow. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. Needless to say, her daughter, after 4 days, left and apologized to her mother, said, I get it, right? So she's no longer, obviously, with him. Now, that being said, she goes with him to doctor visits and she still helps him, which is, I said that in another video, like, do you just help from afar? Do you try to help them in other ways? But with a distance, with a buffer, because how much of our lives are we expected to give up before we say, I just can't take this anymore, right? So anyway, so she's going through this gray divorce thing. And it just really was crazy to me. I know people, couples, their man hasn't had a stroke, nothing. He's just not a likable guy, or she's not, right? How many guys can't go to their friend's house because the fiance or girlfriend or whatever the case is, or boyfriend, whatever, is just an a-hole, right? They just don't want anyone around. They're, and what a weird dynamic, right? You think to yourself, how does someone, let's say like me, I'm outgoing, I have family, friends, and I'm very social, chatty Cathy. And you get with someone and they're like the complete opposite. Like, they don't want people around. They want to be alone. They just, want to chill. When I got with my husband, it really wasn't like that. Like, he kind of enjoyed being around my family. We were always around his family, right? Like, always. And it kind of wasn't like that. As time went on, I saw that divide. But, and I don't have a great relationship with his kids. Like, I just don't. I'm not sure what he's told them, but they don't come here. Like, he has 1 daughter that's never stepped foot in this house, and he's been here 26 years this year. And I've been with him 20 years. She's never been through this door. And then he has another daughter who's been here twice and has not been here in like 15 years. And his other daughter's been here maybe 6 times, but has not been here again in like 10 years. So his kids don't come here like ever. And I'm talking like he gets the gratuitous phone calls. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, maybe. Sometimes he doesn't even get that. So I don't know that it's me, they did make a comment once that it's not you, Dad, it's the people around you. And, he was on speakerphone. I'm like, well, I feel attacked, right? I feel like I just took a shot. But you wonder why, right? And where do you go from there, right? So anyway, so my advice to her was starting over is scary, no doubt, especially at, I think she's, like I said, she's like 61 or 62 years old. She's retiring. I think she's 62. So that's a scary thing. Just financially, she's not like independently wealthy. Like there's some financial issues going on. So yeah, I would say that, that's very scary. And yeah, that is driving me crazy. Just so you guys know, we talked about my OCD. I just noticed that I'm not feeling, that makes me crazy. That means somebody come in here and move my blanket. So now I gotta fix it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. If it has to happen, it has to happen. We're in the final chapter of our lives. And I am a strong proponent. I am a huge fan of, we don't have much time left. Spend it with the people you love. Spend it as happy as you can. I had a doctor tell me, it's not if you get sick, Shelly, it's when you get sick, because I'm sick all the time. He was talking about placing a port, and it was very scary last year. And he said, when you feel good, go out, do things, enjoy life. Because it's going to come. It's going to come when you don't feel good, and I have a lot of health issues and these types of things. But, I agree with that. And I know that sounds very mean, but I feel like live your life, man. If God is blessing me with another 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is, I need to spend that happy, or at least at peace. No arguing, no bickering. And that's what I told her. My advice to her, and I'm not a therapist or a doctor or anything. I said, these are just my thoughts, girl. I said, be happy. Do what makes you happy. Because she's tried in this relationship. He doesn't want medication. He doesn't want therapy. He doesn't want to, I said, look, you tried. You did your due diligence. You did what you had to do. You put it out there. And even if you didn't, you have a right to be happy. We have a right to be happy. Just because somebody, like I said, her husband had a stroke, or if someone, God forbid, has a heart attack, or their, kidney, whatever their issue, yes, we can be their friend. We can help them. We can feel bad for them. But do we have to sacrifice our peace for that person? I realize better or worse may mean a lot of worse. I don't know. But there's a point, and I pray that I can learn to take my own advice. But I told her, I said, girl, go be happy. Go do what you got to do to make yourself happy, whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you. And if staying makes you happy, stay. Long story short, she did leave. She actually stayed at her daughter's house for about 3 weeks. Now she's moving into her own apartment. And she said she's never been more at peace. So she said it's been a really long time coming. So my prayers are for her. And if you're watching, hey girl, be happy. So anyway, so that was my thought on the whole gray divorce thing. I think divorce sucks at any age, any time. I think at this stage in our life, it's worse. We're just so much unknown. Our health, fears, money, our kids, our grandkids, what's going to happen? Where am I going to live? Oh my God, splitting everything up. I don't want to move him. He had a stroke. What do I do? Blah, blah. It's just crazy, right? So in any case, those are my thoughts. And let me know what you guys think. Let me know, how do you feel about the whole gray divorce thing? Have you gone through that? Or, maybe if you're younger, have your parents gone through that? Or someone? And how did it work out, right? I mean, we have to do what we have to do in and pray through it. That's the best we can do. But in any case, thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.